This is the race-by-race preview for Sha Tin on Sunday. 10 races, 8 on the turf on the sea course and 2 races on the yaw weather. Paul Lally's here to give you some selections right throughout the meeting, and we kick off with a Class 4 over the 1200 metres. Plenty of first starters, the 3, the 4, the 5 and the 6 all on debut in this restricted Class 4 event. And down towards the bottom, we've got Joyful Prosperity having his first start out of Griffins, as is Great Days, as is Sonic Boom with the crossover noseband going on, and Telecom Dragon on the back of 2 trials will wear a tongue tie for the first time. This will be subject to change, Paul, with the amount of first starters in the race this speed map.
Yeah, it is, and one of them has shown a bit of pace in his trials, and that's Ruby Lot there. Drawn barrier 1. Lyle Hewitson does like to push his horses forward as well, so I think he's going to be up there. Super Bonus is a possible alternative. He could go and lead the race. Kaholo Angel likes to get a bit handier as well. Sonic Boom has missed the start on occasions. And Super Legends, another one that's missed the start on a couple of occasions. The Concentration, another first starter, hasn't shown any speed.
He's been a bit keen too around the first turn, the Concentration, wanting to get their head up. But Jamie Richards is our interview. Tom was out at track work this morning to talk to Jamie about his first starter, known as Hinokami Kagura.
Jamie, lining up for you first start, Hinokami Kagura, 3-year-old by Deep Field. How have you seen his trials? He had 5 in total, a few placings for him.
Yeah, I've been happy with him. He arrived early and we were trying to get him to the PPG races at the back end of last season, but it was all just happening a bit quick for him. So we backed off him and had this race in mind for a little while, and been pleased with the way that he's trialling up. So look, first up in an open race, go in there confident he's going to run well, but it's a little bit hard to assess how these young horses are going to perform when the pressure really comes on race day.
Looks like he does possess a little bit of gate speed, this guy.
He does. He's jumped and lit up his trial the other day. Just asked Karis to make him show his speed a little bit, because they'll go fast. But he's a nice type of horse. He's by a good sire here in Hong Kong, and looking forward to him making his debut.
He's got the usual stable gear on, the crossover noseband and the tongue tie, but you did trial him the other week on the all-weather with the pacifiers on.
Yeah, that would be sort of normal practice for the stable, especially when there's a little bit of wet weather around. Young horse, he didn't end up getting any kickback, but we put the pacifiers just because he was trialling on the dirt. But yeah, crossover and tongue tie is pretty normal for us.
There is Jamie Richards on Hinokami Kagura. The opposition, though, Paul, includes a horse that did win on debut in Griffin Company, Kaholo Angel. This is his most recent trial. He's had 2 of them. This is the one at Happy Valley. The further they went, the better he looked, didn't he? He
did, didn't he? The blinkers come off, the hood will come off for his seasonal debut. He gets a £10 claim as well, which is a positive, and did win fresh up from his 4 starts. Just had the 1 win, but that was fresh. And the trial was good. So, look, he looks like he's primed for a good run, and he's drawn nicely in barrier 2 as well. So he'll put himself there.
Stable's in good form. Casper Founds. This is Super Bonus. He's had 3 trials. We're going back to the trial 2 ago on the 6th of September. And in this one, he runs second behind Island Surprise, and it's been by far the best of the 3. Yeah,
look, it was an okay trial, this horse. There was a lot of money for him when he did win 2 starts ago, then backed it up with a 3rd behind Kaying Victory at his last start. Look, he's just been pushed out a little bit in his trials, but, you know, he's done what he's had to do, I suppose.
And another of the first starters now. This is Ruby Lot at Happy Valley. Have you been impressed by his trials?
I think he's the best of the first starters, Ruby Lot. And look, the trial has been pretty good here as well. He's only had the 2 trials from barrier number 1. He'll get his opportunity though, and you can see he wasn't asked to do anything here. Just towards the end, he was pushed a little bit, but the first 2 were well clear of the rest of the field. So a nice enough trial for this horse, son of Rubik.
Ruby Lot looking to do what Snowalot did and win on debut. Joyful Prosperity, Paul. He comes here as the grey. We're going to have a look at some of his track work down the back straight at Sha Tin.
Yeah, he worked with a couple of partners horse here, Call Me Mighty and Lost Child, who's in this meeting as well. He's the grey closest to us in that yellow saddlecloth. Thought his track work was pretty good leading into this, and he looked really good at the back end of last season against the trend in a couple of races, and his best run was his debut run as well.
All right, so he's going to win this race?
Well, I think he's got the experience. This is a race for 3-year-olds, obviously. So with that experience under his belt, I'm happy to go with Joyful Prosperity on top. Super Bonus in there for second, Ruby Lot and Kaholo Angel. We spoke about those. 7-2-4-1.
That's the preview for the first at Sha Tin on Sunday for a post time of 1 o'clock local. A trip onto the all-weather is race number 2, and this race is over the 1650 metres. It's a Class 5 with High Cloud and Call Me Teddy and Colourful Baron all on the class drop. Colourful Baron's now with Jamie Richards, who's taken off the blinkers and put the pacifiers with the cowls back on. Nebula jumps up in distance after running second behind Shaw Joyful last time. Daily Beauty better suited here than what he was on the turf at Sha Tin last start. Green Laser was scratched on Wednesday night, but good to go in this, and Flying Gallop has the blinkers off and the pacifiers going on. Speed here, Paul, has Call Me Teddy leading. Colourful Baron, Star of Glory all like to go forward, but it's either on the rail or one off for everybody.
Yeah, I think everyone will get their opportunity in this. Now, Call Me Teddy's already had a run this season, and the stablemate is Star of Glory, and those two are both front runners. I think it's more likely that Call Me Teddy from barrier number 10 will come across and lead Star of Glory, and Star of Glory can get that nice trail from barrier 4. The High Cloudy should get a nice run midfield with Chiron as well. Son of McPhee gets back, and Starship 80's been getting back and running on strongly in his races.
Some race form to kick us off, and it is from earlier in this season, race number 20 to be exact. Nebula is the horse on the turf. Now, he's tried up really well on the all-weather. He's actually tried up really well more often than not, Paul, and perhaps do you think that the penny might be starting to drop with him because this was a better performance?
It was better. He's had 3 goes on the all-weather, and he hasn't featured at all in any one of the 3. He's a 13-start maiden. I can't have him, to be honest. I haven't really included him at all. Look, he hit the line nice enough, but just the all-weather. I know the trials have been okay, but he's trialled well on the turf as well.
Okay. So maybe a watch on Nebula despite that second switching surfaces. We move on now to High Cloud, who runs 4th in this trial. He has raced on the all-weather, ran 4th on it as his best finish, but the trial did look strong.
It looked really good, didn't it? Now, his best run, he's run 3rd from his 13 starts. That 3rd was on a rating in the 50s. So he's been a little bit disappointed in that respect that he hasn't sort of won in Class 4, but he's now down here into Class 3, and Hugh Bowman aboard. And this trial was very good, I thought. So, yeah, he's definitely one of the main chances.
Oh, it's a good report for High Cloud there. And our final trial is Son of McPhee, who is a horse that's won 2 from 35. Doesn't mind this distance of 1650 either, the trial over the 1200. Yeah,
and he's been very consistent on a place line, this horse. He's been placed 16 times. He's drawn wide, but he gets back anyway. He's got Zach Purden aboard. He might be slightly under the odds, but the horse, look, he's run a lot of recently his 5th, 6th, 7th type thing, but this will be his second start back in Class 5. And he's in the right grade anyway.
He's placed a couple of times. First up too has Son of McPhee. Are you with the Cirrus, High Cloud?
I'm not a weatherman, Mark, but I think he'll be all fine on the day for High Cloud, and he can win this particular contest. In there for second is Starship 80. He's been getting back running on well, so he has caught the eye a few times. Colourful Baron, he's a horse that is only having his second start in Class 5. He's run second off a 38 rating before. He's lower than that. And Chiron, his win was off 33. He's at the 36. He did hit the line strongly at his last start. So 1, 9, 4 and 3.
There it is, Paul, with the Bowman and White combination to win race number 2. The opening group race of the season comes up as race number 3. It is the running of the Group 3 Celebration Cup over the 1400 metres. Beauty Joy's placed 2 from 4 first up. In fact, he's won 2 from 4 first up. Healthy Happy races well in a fresh up condition also. Straight Aaron's back from the 1.5 miles of the champions, and Chater Circuit Stella's a 3-time course and distance winner. And the Golden Scenery, he's the only horse in this field to have raced this season, and he's a winner. As we have a look at the speed map here, Paul, both Healthy Happy and Counted and Circuit Stella normally all like to be up on the pace.
They do, don't they? And I think it could probably be something similar to here. Circuit Stella, Beauty Joy, the Golden Scenery all come from the same stable, so they can sort of really control what they want to do in this particular race. But I thought a Counted might be able to cross them and get outside Healthy Happy. He won't go fast.
We'll have more from Paul in just a moment. Firstly, though, the rider of the talented Encountered. Here's Tom with Derek Long.
Derek, Encountered lining up for Manfred Mad in the Group 3 Celebration Cup. You've won on him 3 times now at the back end of last season. How brave was he considering the run he had and the prevailing weather conditions of that final meeting?
Yeah, well, he been improving a lot last couple run, and we're going along pretty well. And you know, now he's up on the rating 105 against with some good horse, quality horse. So he need to keep improving.
What about him as a horse? He looks like he's got a real sort of fighting, willing attitude to win this horse, doesn't he?
Yes, he just keep fighting, and I'm happy what he did last season. He hope he more improving.
What about his trial on the all-weather the other week, where he covered ground and finished second? And how's he come on since that trial with his morning track work?
Yeah, we just give him an easy trial, but he still seems like his trial pretty good, and the fitness been improving after the trial.
Tactics in a small field undoubtedly will play their part. He's raced on the pace, near the pace, off the pace. What do you think sort of the best sort of thing needs to happen at the weekend for him to finish as close as he possibly can, if not win?
Well, we try to be win on Sunday, and only small field, but we draw outside again. Try to be slot in somewhere around midfield, and depends on the pace, because only one or two horses we try to lead. So it seems like gonna be slow, so don't want to be too far behind. I need to discuss with the trainer and the owner first, but try to be slot in somewhere around midfield, don't get too far behind.
That is Derek Long re-encountered. Beauty Joy is our first replay. Paul, there he is. He did race wide in this trial and he was ridden out late. We'll have to carry the 135 pounds, so he gives a lot of weight away to all of the other rivals.
Yeah, he didn't win last season, but he was placed a lot of times in group company behind our top horses here in Hong Kong. That's why he has to carry this big weight, 135. But look, he's a really good horse, fresh. He's got a couple of stable mates in there as well. From barrier number 3, I think he'll get a really nice run. So, look, I'm going to give him a chance, even though he has to carry that weight.
Tony Cruz looking for 3 celebration cups in a row. He's got 3 runners. This isn't one of them. We're going to roll straight, Aaron, from coming up towards the home turn. This trial was over 1,200 metres at Happy Valley. There were 2 1,700 metre trials this morning, but Casper electing to run him over the shorter trip of 1,200 metres. He's back from a mile and a half. First up at 1,400. Where do you place him in this race?
Well, look, he's going to get back and he's going to run on. He's a stayer, but we see sometimes these stayers do run well fresh. He hit the line strongly. You can see they weren't really pushing the horses in front, though, was he? And he was asked to do a little bit late, but he did respond really nicely. So I think this is a stepping stone to something else, but he might run a cheeky race fresh.
All right, that is straight, Aaron. And finally, a win from earlier in this season, the Golden Scenery, who trolled okay at Chung Fa, leading in this behind California Deeply and Heroic Master. His form just average at the back end of last season, but he's come back from the break with a vengeance.
Yeah, look, he gets him with a really light weight, so he's given his chance in this race here. Slightly out of the handicap as well. This is a Class 2 race. It's obviously going to be a lot harder now coming into group company with him. So, yeah, look, even though he's got the weight advantage, I don't know if in this race second up.
OK, that is the Golden Scenery. You'll be with Encountered, won't you?
Yeah, look, I just think, look, Encounter's best races are over 1,600, but he has been placed fresh over the 1,400 in the past. I think over this 1,400 metre trip at this stage will really suit this horse. So he's on top. Beauty Joy can carry the weight. Circus Seller, he'll get a nice run just in behind. He'll get his opportunity. He comes in with 123 and Straight Aaron running on late. 5-1-4-3.
And for treble punters, race number 3 is the first leg of the early treble at 2 o'clock, the Group 3 Celebration Cup. Cue the scratching graphic for race number 4. El Valiente has come out, race 4, number 11. So he won't be running in this race, which is on the Your Weather. It's a Class 4 once again over the 1,650 metres, and Billionaire Secret is at the top of the book. All O' Mine has the hood going on. Fast Buck second time on the All Weather for him. Special Hedge goes up in trip from the 14 to the 1,650. Mission Bravo, first start for Mark Newnham. The hood, the visor and the tongue tie come off. Blinkers go back on again. And then we've got Gold Sterling down the bottom making his all-weather debut, and we'll wear pacifiers for the first time. The speed map here, Paul, Fast Buck, Reliable Profit. Mission Bravo led up in a trial at Happy Valley and he stopped rather badly in it.
Yeah, that's why I wonder if he'll take the trail. He has led in the past here, but Fast Buck has had one start on the all-weather and he led on that occasion and ran really well when he ran second. Reliable Profit's backing up from Wednesday night. All of Mine's already had a run this season as well. Bear Slam should get a nice enough run. Back to Billionaire Secret, Darcy Legend. They'll get back. Billionaire Secret ran two really good races on the turf and he's coming back to the all-weather where he's run some good races in the past.
He's also trialled on the all-weather pretty well, Paul, and we're going to see his trial where he runs 6th here. He's had the 2 trials, 3rd in the first one, and then he didn't show a lot of early pace in this, being 1,200 metres and a horse that's looking for further, but the finish was good.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Now, he's drawn 11, but he gets back anyway, so the draw is no worry to him whatsoever. We've seen this trial already earlier in the card with High Cloud winning. And he racing, I should say, and he went really well, Billionaire Secret. So I think he's a big chance in this race.
There's a good start for the replays for race number 4. This is Gold Sterling at Happy Valley. He's way down in the weights here, off 117 pounds and actually eligible for Class 5. Ran second behind Horse of Good Luck.
He's had 4 duck eggs. This horse stays in Class 4. I'd like to see him in Class 5.
All right. We'll wait for him to perhaps drop a grade Gold Sterling. And our final replay, well, El Valiente will feature in this, but he won't feature in the race because he has been scratched. This is Mission Bravo running 5th, Righteous Doctrine 3rd. He's trialled pretty poorly since then. And as you said, Paul, reliable profit. We saw him on Wednesday night. This has been his best effort last prep, and he's only going the all-weather.
Yeah, so look, he went not too badly in this race. Look, the trial from Righteous Doctrine wasn't particularly good, but he's done that in the past and he's come out and run really well on race day. So I'm willing to forgive that particular trial. He's well rated, this horse, as well. He's getting on in age and you can see he fights well in this particular contest. So, look, I'm going to include him on a minor line, Righteous Doctrine.
Keith Young and Michael Cheng with a Righteous Doctrine. Who's in around him if he's on the minor line?
I like Billionaire Secret in this race, so I'm going to go with Billionaire Secret on top. Coming back onto the all-weather, trial was good. Fast Buck only had the one start on this all-weather, and he ran really well, I thought, when he ran second behind Iron Will. Righteous Doctrine in there for 3rd. And Darcy Legend, another one that always performs trial-wise pretty well on the surface. He'll be one at a big price. 1, 3, 4 and 9.
And that is the preview for race number 4, which is leg 1 of the Triple Trio. It is turf racing from race 5 right through to race number 10 now, but the 5th is the focus currently. It is a Class 4 over the 1,200 metres, and Island Golden. He won first up. He did run second at the back end of last season. Fun Together won it better than 100 to 1 on the 15th of January. Go Heroes won a trial, was scratched with a wound to the left hind on the 9th of July. The firm nearly lost the rider on debut. Speedy Fortune and Commanding Missile have both trialled leading into this. Always Fluke will wear cheek pieces for the first time. Lucky Fun now with Pierre Rong has the blinkers and the tongue tie going back on. Speed here, Paul, has Island Golden Go Hero going forward. Lucky Quality, he's been toughing it out there out wide lately, but doing an all right job, and Champion Instinct is second up.
Yeah, just drawn awkwardly once again in barrier number 8, Lucky Quality. Champion Instinct's coming back to 1,200 metres. He did go forward last time over the 14. Speedy Fortune should get a nice run. Commanding Missile, he looked good at the back end of last season. He'll get a nice trail. Fun Together won't get a bad run, and I thought August Moon as well as a horse who's just had that one run back, and so he'll be fitter.
Karis Teaton's been racking up the winners over the last couple of meetings in particular. He'll be hoping to ride another one here with Go Hero, and this is Karis with Tom.
Karis, a Go Hero lining up for his seasonal debut. It was pretty unlucky and pretty rough over the final stages last start, but it looked like there was plenty of merit in the run, I thought.
Yeah, he ran a good race last time, first time up. Of course, he did not break well. He was a bit green, and into the straight, of course, he sort of got tight a bit for a bit of a room. And I think he's a progressing horse, and just looking forward to riding him again.
Talk us through that situation, because there was a lot of bumping between your horse and Matthew Chadwick's horse with that outside horse leaning all over you. Is that how much of a momentum killer can that be, and what do you have to be mindful of in those situations?
Yeah, well, you know, when there's a gap, and you know, we of course try to get as clear of a run we can in a straight, and you know, of course the horse on the outside I believe kept a really strong line, and you know, of course my horse being first up, a bit green and not toughen enough, was unable to sort of push his way out a bit, but that's how racing are, and you know, these things you deal with, but you know, I think the horse is a nice horse.
He finished 4th without maybe all that unbalancing. Could he finish it a little bit closer to the win?
Yeah, I think he could have you know, he could have maybe finished a bit closer, but you know, like I said, he was very green, and you know, I think an experience also did count on the day.
Let's look forward to this weekend with him. He barrier trialled over 1,200 metres on the all-weather. To the untrained eye, was he just pushed out a little bit in that trial?
Yeah, he needed to do a bit of work. I believe when he go a bit further, he will be better. But it's a good start, of course. He's a very laid-back horse, so I just thought in a trial, if I left him alone, he was not going to do much. So I just wanted him to do a bit of work before going to races.
How do you feel he's come on since the trial? Because you did gallop him on Wednesday morning.
Yeah, he's come on good. He took the trial nicely, and I think, like I said, I think he's ready to go, and it will be a good race for him.
Couple of winners on Wednesday night, including Helene Feeling. How good was he?
Yeah, it was a tough win. You know, from that draw, we had to work on the first turn. Went a bit fast, but he just, I think he's got a bright future as a young horse, and you know, of course, he's got bigger things to come in front of him.
There he is, Sha Tin Re-Go Hero. The opposition, Paul, includes a horse that finished behind Dream Winner on debut, and he did pull up lame in that race of Firm. What have you made of his two trials? He's run 3rd and 6th, but was pushed out late in both of them.
Yeah, he was. We've seen this trial a couple of times, haven't we? And you can see a Firm pushed out a little bit in this. He was pretty short on debut. He is 5.5. He's drawn barrier number 12 for his first seasonal debut. So, look, yeah, I'm just wondering from that wide draw he's going to end up in the run. So I was happy to watch him.
All right, and there he is holding on for 3rd, but those horses in behind him were doing it much more easily. Lucky Fun, last turning for home, gets wide, motors down the outside. He's placed a couple of times first up too. Yeah,
another horse who's well rated now, Lucky Fun. His problem is he misses the start. So he's drawn barrier number 4. So as long as, well, we'll see where he does end up there. The blinkers will go on, tongue tie back on. He's with a new trainer, with Pierre Ung, though. I mean, the trial was good enough. It's just a matter of where he is in the run.
And he is our final replay to preview for race number 5. Open race, this one?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, there's plenty of different chances and ways to look at it. Look, I'm going to go with the horse the Karis is on. We did hear that interview, Go Hero there. I thought he ran really well on his debut there for 4th. He trialled really well. Now, the horse that beat him that day was a horse called Commanding Missile. I'm going to put him in on the 3rd line as well. Island Golden, I think, will be in front out of trouble, so he goes in between them. And Fun Together came out of that same trial. He was one of those ones you're talking about that was going better than a Firm just in behind. 3, 1, 8 and 2.
They are Paul's thoughts for race number 5, which doubles as the first leg of the 6-up. Sprint course in use for race number 6 down the straight, 1,000 for this one. Good field 2 for the Class 3. We've got Pleasant Endeavour, who raced really well last season and is a 2-time first up winner. California Deeply, we've seen he debuted for the season at Happy Valley, as did Explosive Witness, flying high as a 4-time course and distance winner. Sinba's season start was delayed with a blood abnormality on the 10th of September. He's back in trip to the 1,000 also. Kaying Spirit's a 3-time winner first up. We've got Metro Warrior, who races well down the straight. Cotton Fingers is a first starter. Happy Missions now with Mark Newnham and has the hood off and the blinkers and the crossover noseband going on. Sparkling Night also races well over the 1,000 metres. Bit of pace here. Paul Cheval-Valiant, we know, likes to just hike along in the lead.
Had a look at his record there. Last season, he led in every single one of his starts without fail. So he is a reliable leader. Amazing Rocky had no luck last time. He was drawn wide at Happy Valley. He should get a better run this time. Sparkling Night goes forward and Metro Warrior goes forward. Kaying Spirit, I think, can slot in just behind those ones. And Pleasant Endeavour likewise. And both those two have got really good fresh records.
California Deeply, Amazing Rocky and Explosive Witness, who finished between them, is in our first replay. This is over at Happy Valley. Paul, California Deeply's done all of his winning over at the Valley. He has placed down the straight. What do you make of him in a race such as this?
Well, he's only had 2 goes down that straight, and the placing was behind We Are Hero. So he does come out of a really quite a strong race. I don't think you could say he's a totally Happy Valley horse on the back of that. So, look, I wanted to keep him safe, California Deep, because one thing he's got on some of these other runners is fitness.
Explosive Witness is a Group 3 winner down the straight
That's
too.
true,
Won
yeah.
the Bohemia Sprint Trophy at Sha Tin. Next replay is straight racing. Here's your Cheval-Valiant, funnily enough, in front in this race as well. Metro Warrior 3rd. This is the time to normally catch Carrying Spirit first up. He had an excuse this night. He had mucus in the system.
He did, and look, we know he's a really good fresh horse. He's got Hugh Bowman aboard coming up on the weekend. So, look, you're right, this is the right time to catch him, and I think he'll run particularly well. So, I do like him in this. I didn't mind the way Run Cool finished off here too. We know he's quite good down the straight.
That was him over on the very far side about midfield. Run Cool. Mark Newnham's going to send out Happy Mission for the first time from the stable. There he is to the inside of Super Axiom. Carroll Street goes on to win this trial, but he looked to be doing it well within himself.
Yep, so he comes in with the lightweight. There's all those gear changes as well. And he's drawn against the outside fence, so that's a positive as well. The thing is, we've seen a 4 from him, basically from his 5 starts, so we'll need to improve a little bit on that.
As he coasts down the line there for second, does Happy Mission. So that's a look at some replays for race number 6. Paul, who's going to run the fastest 1,000?
Well, I'll tell you what I've done. I've gone with the horses that have got the really good fresh records here, and that's Carrying Spirit and Pleasant Endeavour. So I went 7 to beat 1, just because Carrying Spirit will meet Pleasant Endeavour. Carrying Spirit's got 1, he'll get across, and Pleasant Endeavour from 13 will be up against the fence. So that's the Quinella, 7 to beat 1. California Deeply and Run Cool, we talked about those two. Good race, this one. Plenty of different ways you can dissect it, but I went 7, 1, 2 and 4.
Paul with the freshies, Carrying Spirit and Pleasant Endeavour in race number 6. We look now at race number 7, and the 7th race is over the 1,400 metres and is a Class 3. Flagship Warriors now with Casper Founds. He did win first up. Brave Dreams has placed first up. Taj Dragon's a 2-time 1,400 metre winner. Beauty Missile has the blinkers off and the visor going on. New homes for Marado, Chris So and Torbjorn Prince. Benno Young. Show Respect has cheek pieces added. Harry's Hero has the crossover noseband on and the tongue tie coming off. And we've got Yellowfin coming up on the back of that win over Simple Hedge into Class 3 for the first time. Marado leads here, Paul. He's a horse that has had a couple of trials, and Vincent Ho takes the ride.
Yeah, likes to go forward, this horse, with the new trainer, so we'll see if they sort of adopt the same tactics, but he did win them from the front. Yellowfin, he led last time, and he won't be too far away either. Taj Dragon, the likely favourite in the race, should get a perfect run just in behind. Beauty Missile can follow him and Show Respect. And Solid Shala ran home nicely at his debut run this season.
He's got a bit of race fitness on his side, does Solid Shala. But we start, though, Paul, with the replay of Brave Dreams trial. Now, he's a last start winner on a rain-affected track over the 1,400 metres. He's had 2 trials. This is a 6th behind. Meaningful Star. It was a good quality trial, this one.
Yeah, it was a nice trial. He's quite a versatile horse because he's won on good to firm as well. Has Brave Dreams. He's going to get back from barrier number 10. You can see he just held his position in this particular trial. But as you say, it was there were some quite good quality horses in this particular trial. So, look, I'm going to include him. I think he can run well. I haven't got him on a win line, though.
A number of those horses appear in race number 10. This is Taj Dragon, though. He wins the trial. That's Beauty Joy, who runs in the group 3 to the outside. Taj Dragon, also a last start winner, will carry an extra couple of pounds for it, and 2-time winner over 1,400.
Should get the perfect run from barrier number 2. He's got Zach Purton aboard. He just looks really set up well for this particular horse, and look, he really accelerated nicely to win this trial. So, look, he looks tough to beat in this contest.
And that is a good report around Taj Dragon. And our final replay, Yellowfin took a little time to win the maiden. Now he's gone on to win 1. He'll be aiming for 2 in a row, and nothing in this trial would suggest that he couldn't possibly do it, could it?
Yeah, it was a long time coming, wasn't it, this particular win? It was 13 starts by the time he managed to get his nose in front, but he had 9 placings leading into it, and when he did win, he won really nicely. So maybe the penny has dropped for Yellowfin, so yeah, he's one you wouldn't want to leave out.
And that is a look at some of the replays for race number 7. You gave a good push to Taj Dragon during the replays. Is he on top?
Yeah, it looks tough to beat. Does Taj Dragon. He's going to get every favour with Zach Purton aboard and barrier number 2. I didn't mind the way Solid Shala hit the line last time. Now, David Hayes' horse have started off the season particularly well, and he's got race fitness under his belt. Brave Dreams, we saw him, and Yellowfin in there as well. So 3, 10, 2, 9.
Taj Dragon, the on-top selection for Paul in race number 7, looking to carry on his winning way. Race number 8 now, an impressive last start winner at the top of the book in this one. The race is over 1,400 metres for the Class 4s, and that impressive winner was Green and White. Extra £8 for it though, the win on the 1st of July. Red Hair King coming back in trip for his first up run. Can't Go Wong's down in grade. Lost Child has the blinkers off. Circuit 9 new stable was with Tony Cruz, now Cody Moe, who's removed the hood. Noble Pursuit, the blinkers come off. We've got Aestheticism, the cheek pieces off and the blinkers going on. Strongest Boy coming back from the 1650 and Seize the Dream and Fast Pass will be looking to improve on what they've done so far in short careers. Speed here, Paul. Strathpepper, Red Hair King, E-Glory. Fast Pass led up in a recent trial, but he did fade from the fairway outs.
Yeah, so look, if he wants to put a bit of extra pace in the race, it could come from Fast Pass. Also, E-Glory, he might want to push on from his wide draw as well. Noble Pursuit didn't get much luck on his debut run. He should get a nice run. Green and White, likewise, should be the likely favourite in the race. Back to Can't Go Wong, who ran on really nicely and has trialled well recently. Casa Cosmo, Circuit 9, has missed the start on a few occasions, so he might be right out the back.
He's likely going to be favourite after that win last time in the trial also. The horses Green and White, the jockey is Zach Purton, and Zach is with Tom.
Zach, Green and White for Ricky, you were a strong winner at the back end of last season. How did you evaluate that final run of his?
I thought it was good. He'd shown in most of his runs that he had some ability, and it was just a matter of him, I think, stepping up in distance and having that little bit more experience. And he'd been slow out of the gates, but that day he'd become better and he put himself in a good position and he got the job done.
No doubt you've watched the trial up at Chung Fa. Off face value from the naked eye. It looked pretty impressive, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it looked good. Those Chung Fa trials, as we know, they're a little bit hard to follow, although some of the jockeys now are starting to go and ride up there in the trials. So I think as time goes on, it'll be a little bit easier to follow those. There's a little bit more speed in the trials now, which is more similar to what we have back here in Hong Kong. So I think those trials, like I said, will become a little bit more of a form base for us. But he seemed to trial well. He looks as if he's in good order. Ricky Yu started the season strongly, so I'm hoping he can perform well.
Just on some of those trials up at Chung Fa, when you're back here in Hong Kong watching them, what do you look for? Because some of them, as you've touched on, can be hard to follow, glorified jump outs almost.
Yeah, it's hard to look for anything really. There are a lot of horses that trial well up there and race poorly, and then a lot of horses that seem to trial poorly and race well. So up until this point in time, they've been really hard to follow, but I think going forward, hopefully we can get a little bit more benefit out of them.
Green and White and Zach Purton there on the thoughts around the top weight in race number 8. Paul, we'll move on though to Lost Child, who runs third in a trial. He's a horse that has won over 1,400 metres previously. Lyle Hewitson on board for Michael Cheng.
He did take a run or so before he sort of found winning form at the start of the season. He's had 7 starts just for that one win. The trial was good though. There was no problems with this trial. You can see wasn't really asked to do too much at all. So a nice trial, drawn well in barrier number 6. So look, I didn't quite make it in, but he was right on the cusp. I did have a couple of looks at him.
Euro Rocks wins that trial and he pushed self-improvement a little last weekend. Poem Way runs third here on the all-weather. He's pushed out doing it, but you think the switch to the turf is the key? Yeah,
look, I just really liked his last run at the back end of last season when he stepped up to 1,400 metres. He ran with June Planet, who came out and won during the week. Look, this was really get rid of all the cobwebs, I think, in this particular trial, and he was really pushed out in it. He held his place, but you know, you wouldn't take him off that trial, but you would take him off his last run.
Okay, go on the turf form exclusively with Po on Way. And you think he can win?
Well, looking for something at a bit of a price in this race. I think the favourite's going to come up way too short, Green and White. So he's on top. Green and White, look, he did win that trial, but as we say, none of those horses were pushed out in the trial, so we don't really know, and he's got to carry the big weight. But he will start favourite. It's just what price he comes up. Red Hair King, now he's back to 1,200 metres, and this is his winning distance. Did win second up at last season. And Can't Go Wong is another one that seems to have improved a bit. His trial was pretty good. He'll get back. He'll be running on late. But just going for a bit of value in this. 8-1-2-4.
Now that is the preview for race number 8. It's the first leg of the late treble. The starting gates shift to the 1,600 metres for race number 9, and it looks this way for a Class 3 with California 10 on the class drop, leading fortune. Extra £4 for a last start win, but he's a horse that has won 6 times course and distance. Packing Hurricane, no trials. Powerful Wings has had 3. Happy Together is now with Frankie Law. Snaffles goes from the 1400 to the 1600 metres. Big Red is up in distance also. Master of Fortune has had 3 fairly quiet trials to resume in this race. Speed map here, Paul. Cruises did his best, leading at Happy Valley, winning. Young Brilliance led up in a recent trial, and we've seen Big Red on the pace, but last time we saw him, he did take that trail.
He did, didn't he? Yeah, he was sort of well back and sort of ran on well, Big Red. So I think he'll sit handy from a good draw, though. Leading Fortune's another one that doesn't like to be too far away. Secret Vision, likewise, and then the back runners from there. Packing Hurricane. Snaffles might be a little bit closer in the run. He's up in distance to 1600 metres. Super Football, we only saw him out twice last year, coming back on the comeback trial from injury, but has won fresh in the past.
He has. He's trialled over 1,000 metres Super Football, but we start with some race form. Paul, Big Red took inside runs. Snaffles came to the outside here. You're keen on Snaffles. You'll make a case for him, but can Big Red also figure in this?
I think he can. Yeah, look, I'm going to include both of them in this, but Big Red got all the favours on the inside. Snaffles had to do it the hard way. He went out really wide, and there was only, I'd say, a nose between them on the post, or a short head, and this is over 1,400 metres. So both of them stepping up to 1,600 metres. They met a really informed horse here, and I just like the way Snaffles really stretched out late, and he looked like he almost got second there, didn't he? He wasn't that far away.
He wasn't at all. So those two given good reports from Paul. Certainly Snaffles, which is Paul's best bet. Leading Fortune. He wasn't doing much last season, struck that rain-affected track and certainly held his form. Master of Fortune is wider, turning for home here. Wasn't asked, as mentioned, to do too much in the trials, Master of Fortune. What of these two?
Don't mind Master of Fortune. I thought he hit the line quite strongly here in this particular race. The horse has been going pretty well, as you mentioned. His trials have been quiet, and he got really well back, and he was doing his best work late here as well. So there was a bit of rain around, but he's by Fastnet rocked this horse. Look, I quite like him. I've included him.
Okay, that is that too. I've got one more replay to have a look at. That's off to the Happy Valley Trials. This is Young Brilliant for the Racing Club. Over 1,700 metres, he turns for home and just leaves his neighbours behind.
Yeah, look, he did run really well, and look, he'll definitely have his fans going into this race, will Young Brilliant. But the thing with him is his win was over 1,800. I just prefer him over a bit longer trips whatsoever than the shorter trips, but we wish the Racing Club well with it.
All right, that is a look at the replays for race number 9, and you think we've seen the winner amongst them?
I think we have, yeah. I really like Snaffles, actually. Snaffles in this particular contest, stepping up to 1,600 metres. Might be a big day for the sire Churchill. He's also got him counted in the feature. He's got limited horses here in Hong Kong. Big Red, so both these two horses coming out of the same race. I see that as the main form race. And the other thing that's good with these two horses, they both had a run. So they'll be fitter. Master of Fortune, Happy Together, always showed a bit last season. He's with the new stable now as well. 8, 10, 11, 5.
They'll win them on the beaches. They'll win them on the track. Snaffles by Churchill to win race number 9. Final race, Sha Tin on Sunday, and it is a very, very good field here, and we run the 1,200 metre trip for it. Class 2, Master 8 is on the class drop. He's 1 for 1 in this grade. Nordic Dragon's a last start winner, but carries an extra £14 across to Sha Tin. Packing Treadmill, he's 2 for 2 first up. We've got Flying Ace, a 4-time winner, course and distance. I'm a Single Man having his second run for the season. Alacrity has blinkers on for the first time. Wider draw for Bundle of Charm, but he's racing well. And Goko Win comes here first up without a trial. Now the speed here, Paul has Master 8 going forward. I'm a Single Man. Bundle of Charm has good gate speed, but a wider draw than what he has had recently. Yeah, so we need a bit of luck to get across outside. We know Master 8 likes to lead. There's no question about that. I'm a Single Man went forward at his last start, and he's already had a run. Computer Patch used to lead on his air, but hasn't been leading recently. So that's why I thought Bundle of Charm just might get stuck a bit wide there. Eason, he's another one that's led in the past, Eason, but he's been running some good races from behind. Packing Treadmill should get a nice run. Well, from Paul in just a moment. Tom, as you've seen throughout this race-by-race preview, has been out and about. His latest victim is Danny Shum.
Danny, thank you for your time. Nordic Dragon in the final race at Sha Tin. How's he come back for this preparation?
He's very good. He's very healthy. His trial, very good. And the final gallop, Hill Bowman gave me a very positive report. Yes.
No worries about coming back to Sha Tin because he has been beaten here and all of his wins have been at Happy Valley, so no concerns with Sha Tin?
This is the only concern. So of course, I have some concern, but you have to try. Its rating is 93. I don't have much races in Happy Valley at this day. For another 2 months, I can't see any class 2, class 1 in Happy Valley. So I got no option. I have to put him to trial on the Sha Tin. Yeah.
He's a late season Northern Hemisphere 4-year-old. Do you think he's strengthened up and developed since last season?
I think he's getting better and better. I think he can improve. I don't know how much he is, but he's good and sound. Yeah.
What about when he got beaten a couple of times last season, 3 times? What was the key sort of thing you think to get him back to winning success? What do you put some of the key metrics down to being?
The key metric is Hill Bowman. He got good hands, and he can teach the horse relax and make him finish. Yeah. So even the last race, he won on the Happy Valley, Matthew, because that race is low pace at all. So I say we got not really reasonable draw. So just jump and go. But he's more mature. He can go, he can sit behind. Yeah.
And that is the thoughts with Danny on Nordic Dragon. We've got a quality trial to look at for our first replay, Paul, which features Master 8. He just doesn't quite run it up the straight again here. Computer Patch looked good. Packing Treadmill 4th and Eason 7th on the outside. Packing Treadmill, 2 starts first up for 2 wins, and there's the sectionals across the bottom of the screen too.
Yeah, I like Packing Treadmill, and this last win was off 88. He is at this 93 rating, but look, the trial was pretty good from him. And he did find his form again at the back end of last season after losing his way a little bit. So of this lot, this is the one I like.
And that is Packing Treadmill for Paul, who finished 4th in that trial. About to move across to our next one. This is the start around Flying Ace. You can see he wasn't great out of the gates, maybe missed it by a length or so. He recovers quickly after this and ends up running 3rd. Horse that wins the trial is Telecom Speed. He's won first up. 7 starts at 1,200 metres for 4 wins. He does have barrier 12 though.
Yeah, so I think whatever happens, I'll go back from barrier 12. So if he misses a start, it's not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. He can just tuck in the back and run on strongly. We know he's a class horse. He's got a really good win ratio. He's won 5 of his 10 starts with a couple of placings as well. So look, I think he's going to run well in this.
There's a good push for Flying Ace. And Bundle of Charm, 1 start in this grade. He did place in it, had a far better draw. He looked to be doing it quite well in this trial though.
Yeah, look, he went up the ratings quite significantly at the back end of last season. Sort of was stranded on sort of in the early 70s. He's up into the 80s now. From that wide draw, I'm happy to watch him in this. I just don't know what sort of run he's going to get. So we'll just see him go around.
All right, concern with the draw for Bundle of Charm. That's a look at some of the horses in the final race and also a word with Danny Shum. What are your top 4?
Going to go with the horse there, that Flying Ace, the one we talked about. I think he'll get back. He'll be running on strongly. Nordic Dragon, the only thing I didn't like about him was he's never won at Sha Tin. He hasn't been to Sha Tin that often. In fact, he's only been here once before and ran 8th. So that's just a little query I had, and he's got to carry 135 as well. Packing Treadmill with that really good fresh up record. And Goko Win comes in with a really light weight, and he looked quite progressive last season as well. 6-2-3-12.
It's a good field to finish the day at Sha Tin on Sunday. 1 o'clock the first. The turf races on the Sea Course, 2 on the all-weather. And we'll see you for that 1 o'clock post time.